You know, when you're talking about fishing deep water structure, ledges, out on the drops, however you want to say it, one of the very best ways to catch big fish and numbers is a big deep diving crankbait. Strike King's got a series that makes it really simple. And the reason I say that is because they've got every size of them. They've got a 10XD, 8XD, 6XD, 5XD, and a 3XD. These baits dive, the reason they're XD is because they extra deep, they go down really, really fast. And why do you fish these baits? Well, the fish are usually biting shad that time of year. They're feeding on shad. And a crankbait is something, the reason you throw in a deep diving crankbait is you want to get down there and hit the structure that the fish are on. So if there's a ledge down there that say 10 feet breaks into 20, you want your bait slamming the bottom in 8 to 10 feet. So you'd either pick a 5XD or a 6XD. If you want to get really deep, say hit the ledge in 23 feet where it drops to 35, then you might need a 10XD. If you want to get 16 to 18, you use an 8XD. What you're trying to do with your bait is actually get the bait down there hitting the bottom. And as it hits the bottom, it's bouncing off stuff. It's erratic, whether there's stumps down there, whether there's brush, whether there's rocks. I got him still. This one feels bigger. It might be two. He's coming up. He's big. This one I may have in the tail, or maybe a tilapia. Nah, big old bass. Look at that sucker. Woo, look at that guy. That's awesome. I mean, I got the school finally fired up. Look at that. That's a good one. Ah, there we go. Strike King 6XD, Chartreuse Sexy Shad. Size of this guy. You know, people talk about a deep diving crankbait, and a lot of people think, well, heck, that bait's going to get hung all the time. Well, if you look at this bait, when it runs in the water, it's actually going to be running about like this right here. And so the lip actually deflects off stuff, and the hooks will not get hung very bad. You're going to get hung occasionally, but you don't get hung nearly as bad as you would think you would. Now, as far as colors go, I usually like a shad color. If the water's a little bit stained, I'll use something with a little bit of chartreuse in it. I don't usually carry a whole lot of different colors. Those are my main ones. As far as my line setup, I typically like 12-pound test, and I like fluorocarbon. And when I'm talking about line, I've got Super Sniper, FC12 fluorocarbon. This line right here is made by Sunline. I like a fluorocarbon because it cuts through the water really well. It's a dense line. It's not going to hold my bait up. I'm trying to get the bait as deep as I can get it. This line will get it as deep as you want it. As far as your rod and reel setup goes, I like a Tournament ZX composite rod. This rod right here is called a crankshaft rod. If you flip it around, it's composite construction. It's not really, really sensitive. It's a little bit deader rod. And the reason you do that, if you fish a little bit deader rod, when you're cranking that thing along, the bait's bouncing into the bottom and one bites it, you want him to inhale that bait. You don't want to have the opportunity to jerk the bait away from the fish. So the composite construction will do that for you. They make this rod in 3 different sizes. This one's is 7 foot 5 inches. They've also got 7 foot, and they got one that's a little bit longer also. So you can fish any of those. You know, a deep diving crankbait will catch you some really big fish. You got to get it out there. You got to make a long cast, throw it a long way, crank it fast. The results can be incredible. Get up here.